Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on this Tuesday, September 23rd. I'm CJ LeMaster, lead investigative reporter for WLBT, and I'm also your host for this WLBT Plus digital news desk update. We already have some folks who are joining us today to say hi. I got more than nearly 24 of you watching on Facebook Live right now. We got many more than that on the app and our OTT platform, of course, and on YouTube TV. Melissa Price saying good evening. Good evening to you too, Melissa. Hope you're doing well. Hope that your week is going well. So far, we're 2 days in, and I apologize. You guys didn't see me yesterday because I was out sick, but I feel much better, and I am back at work. Brit saying hello. Good afternoon, everyone, with a smiling emoji. Hi, Brit. I can't even talk. Brit's such an easy name to say. Hi, Brit. How are you doing? Sorry, folks. But yeah, it's great to see everybody and say hi to everybody. And I hope that, hey, we're 2 days into the work week now, and we don't have that much longer. The good news is that these temperatures are going to start falling as we're actually getting into fall, and we're actually going to start to see some relief just in time for the state fair next month and some other good things. We have a lot to get to today. Several stories. One of the biggest ones is really how you can help choose Jackson's next police chief. Now, of course, as you know, this is something we've been following for a while. The interim police chief right now is Hinds County Sheriff Tyree Jones. He is taking over temporarily until the city is able to find one through this process. And so, he's been kind of manning the helm to kind of keep things steady while this search continues. It's a nationwide search. The mayor here, John Horn, hopes to nominate a new police chief within the next 30 days, again, after that nationwide search. Now, the mayor says he's looking for a chief who's data-driven, has experience in law enforcement, understands the administrative needs of a police department, is a team builder, and has experience with community policing. Three on Your Side spoke with some of you about what you hope the new chief will bring to the city.
Jackson is a growing city with growing demand, so we're definitely going to need a chief of police that is accessible and willing to listen to the citizens and hear out the issues that they actually face on the ground, because not everybody has the same issues. There's a lot of nuance.
What we're looking for is someone who has credible experience in the eradication of youth gangs, because that's a large source of the problems that we have in Jackson.
Now, if you'll remember, former Chief Joseph Wade announced his retirement from JPD about a month ago. Hinds County Sheriff Tyree Jones serving as interim. And the city is holding a series of public meetings, and we want to show you where those are listening sessions, if you will, so that you can kind of see where those are happening. Tonight, of course, Forest Hill High School. Tomorrow, West Side Community Center. And then next week, we have the Jackson Medical Mall and First Presbyterian Church. Now, these meetings run from 5:30 to 7:30, so that's plenty of time. And listen, in this part of the process, it's very important that city leaders get to hear from you and get to hear what you think in terms of the new police chief for the city of Jackson. Because listen, it's a tough job. It's a lot. People have a lot that they want in this new chief, and this gives you the chance to get to express that to the current administration. And it's something that we're going to be covering out as well. I don't know if we have a reporter who's covering that tonight, but certainly we're going to keep you posted on that, and as that process continues to unfold. So that's something, again, that we're keeping an eye on. We also have some other stories that we want to get to. But first, a couple other folks saying hi. Ashley Boyd saying good afternoon. Hey, Ashley. Hope that you're doing well as well. And Britt, glad you're feeling better. Yeah, I feel a whole lot better. Sometimes it just, just medicine and rest can do wonders. So it's good to be able to have that. I want to tell you about an investigation that we have been following. You probably remember this back when this was several months ago. The state auditor had put out something about nonprofits that, in his view, were spending incorrectly. He has put out another list of those. At this point, he's accusing several nonprofit organizations of wasting taxpayer money, releasing a report that says the nonprofits in question spent money on what his office describes as bloated employee salaries, gift cards, gym memberships, other questionable expenses. In one example, State Auditor Shad White says the organization My Brother's Keeper got $250,000 from the state health department. He says an analysis found questionable expenditures by that nonprofit, including underspending on providing services and overspending on employee salaries. The auditor's office says 55% of the sub-grant to My Brother's Keeper, went to salaries and administration. His report accuses other nonprofits of similar spending practices. And again, this is something that we're following up on today. We have an interview with Auditor White scheduled for later today, and you're going to hear from him in our later newscasts in terms of what his report showed and what they're learning from it and how they move forward. Members of the Jackson Housing Task Force are continuing to look for ways to hold landlords accountable to their tenants and other stakeholders. During their latest meeting yesterday, they talked about the ongoing legal battle between Jackson Water and the owners of several apartment complexes. I know you're familiar with that. We've covered it extensively here. They're working to create, this task force, an accountability system that will hold landlords responsible for late water payments and dilapidated properties. Now, other issues discussed yesterday include boarding up abandoned complexes, how to handle ownership changes, and what happens to tenants if the water gets shut off.
They determine how many units are occupied, how many are not occupied, how many people are paying rent, how many people aren't paying rent. There's also another side of that. You also got to keep in mind the evictions. We don't know how many people being evicted from month to month of those different apartments.
Jackson Water told the task force that the Chapel Ridge apartment complex is already behind on its water bill weeks after getting new owners. That complex has a past due bill of $7,000. Nearly 2 weeks after the assassination of Charlie Kirk, conservative activist, there's been an uptick in political engagement among young people. Now, the Turning Point organization, Turning Point USA, I should say, the founders, Kirk was the founder of that organization. Kirk's assassination resulted in the organization receiving an influx in donations and chapter requests. Turning Point USA says the organization has received more than 62,000 requests from high school and college students who want to start a chapter or become involved in an existing one. The executive director of Mississippi's Republican Party says state colleges like Ole Miss, Southern Miss, and Mississippi State have seen an increase in conservative engagement.
I know that our Ole Miss chapters, our Southern Miss chapters, our Mississippi State chapters, our Mississippi College chapters have seen an uptick with young folks wanting to get involved. And then we've seen that all throughout this country of young folks just wanting to get involved in conservative policy.
Turning Point USA currently has more than 800 college chapters. Now, Kirk was supposed to speak at Ole Miss next month as part of his American Comeback Tour. The university's Turning Point USA chapter has announced that they have Gen Z political commentator Brill Hollyhand, hope I'm pronouncing that right, lined up to speak on campus next week. And we end on a maybe an unexpected note, but certainly one that we've been following. And for those of you who are fans, it's good news for you. It looks like Jimmy Kimmel's show is coming back. ABC announcing that Jimmy Kimmel Live will return on air tonight, and he will address the controversy during his opening monologue. The show was abruptly and indefinitely taken off the air last Wednesday. ABC pulled the show after criticism over Kimmel's monologue about the MAGA movement's response to Charlie Kirk's assassination. Federal Communication Commission Chair Brendan Carr and networks of affiliate stations had threatened ABC over the remarks.
I am very happy. I hope that Bob Iger and the rest of the executives at Disney have seen this protest and that they've been moved by it. It's a cautionary tale. I hope that they will resist any future pressure from the FCC and Carr, because he has his sights on other things. And it's not fair, and I really support the First Amendment right and our right to free speech. So, Jimmy Kimmel, thank you very much.
Now, to be clear, those networks of affiliate stations that Carr has mentioned were actually primarily from two companies that own a number of affiliate stations. That would be Nexstar Communications and Sinclair Broadcasting.
I hope that Bob Iger and the rest of the executives.
Stop that for a second, because I apparently was talking so
Disney
long
have seen this
that she started talking again. The video clips loop, so I apologize for that, folks. Wanted to go ahead and tell you, too, though, that a spokesperson for Disney yesterday, Disney, of course, owns ABC, said that they suspended the show to cool tension over the comments. And, of course, that's been something that folks have been talking a lot about here lately, whether or not what Brendan Carr said rose to the level of what some would say, threatening a broadcaster with action. And then that brought up questions of free speech and the First Amendment and things of that nature. As we have said, or as I say personally, you have freedom of speech, but you don't have freedom from the consequences of that speech. And certainly when it comes to private companies can determine what they want. It's considered an infringement of the First Amendment when the government gets involved. That is the difference. And that is the textbook definition of that. I don't see anybody in the comments today with any, wanting to chime in on some of the things that we've been talking about today. So that's okay. We're going to be back here again tomorrow at 1:00, and I hope you'll join us as well. Also, First Alert weather update coming up at 2:30 and at 6:30 p.m. this evening with members of our First Alert weather team. Also, our early evening newscasts begin at 4 p.m. For everybody here at WLBT and for WLBT Plus, I'm CJ Lemaster, your host here and your lead investigative reporter for WLBT. And before we let you go, we want to have a word from our sponsor, Jackson Water. Again, thank you for joining us.
From Jackson Water, is it okay to pour fats, oils, and greases down the drain if I run hot water?
No!
What if I run the garbage disposal?
No!
How about if I use dish soap at the same time?
No!
Instead, hang on to a few containers to store and toss old cooking fat and grease once you're done. Jackson Water. Water for all the time.